now from Adam S. Adam with $9.99 before we even went live today.
Wow.
Wanted to make sure he got his comment. And we've all seen breakdowns of who the most talented players are in the upcoming draft, but yet to hear who the toughest guys are with talent. It's Flyers tradition to be able to score, hit, and fight. And I did, Adam S., thank you for this. This is one of the mailbag questions I got for yesterday that I put aside for a future mailbag of the day. And Adam
is he's very intent on getting an answer to this question.
Who
he put
is
it in
the
our
Sam
Discord
Moran
as well.
of this draft?
Yeah, so he could not wait, so he wanted the question answered. Charlie, this is one for you. Me personally, like just what you told me about Yakimchuk, seems like he's pretty badass. Anyone else who you think might check those boxes?
Yeah, he's probably the closest. I mean, there's no Tom Wilson in this draft. Let me put it that way. So if you are dreaming on a 30-goal plus scorer who is huge and beats the crap out of everyone, like that guy is not in this draft. Also, you might just need to come to the conclusion that like that guy doesn't really exist anymore.
I was gonna say but also do goony tough hockey players even exist anymore? Like with kids coming up through, I feel like they've eliminated a lot of that.
I mean, but if I'm that's a great way to have a long NHL career.
Well, yeah.
Now, like obviously, you have to be as good as the Tkachuks to make it work. But like, I don't know, man. If you're gonna be a 3rd-round pick, like Nick Cousins just won a Stanley Cup. Like be a guy like that.
Like the super late rounds.
Not like he's not a star player by any means. He's a 4th liner, but if you're that guy, like there's always room for Garnet Hathaways in the league.
Also, though, I feel like we've heard from fighters before that like that wasn't really the goal going in.
Yeah.
That was the shit, this is how I stay on the roster. I'm Dan Carcillo. I was the best player on all of my teams. Now I'm like a nobody. But if I beat the shit out of everybody, I'm definitely going to make the team. So I guess I'm doing that now. And then that's how they form their career. It's not really because they want to. It's because they have to. So I don't really know if like at the draft level, you're going to identify a guy that's like going to be a face puncher.
I
had heard that Matt Rempe wasn't really a face puncher in his early days. That was something that he realized he was going to have to, like he was big and huge. So of course he was physical, but he wasn't the fight every game Matt Rempe that we saw. Like he learned that was a way to get himself to the NHL, and he's in the NHL. The only crappy part about it is that I really hope that as a result of that, it doesn't lead to him, having brain damage in 10, 15 years just to get a taste of the NHL, because this stuff is real. So that would be a bummer. But I mean, it'll get him to the NHL, especially when you're 6'6", 6'7" like he is. But no, I would say Yakimchuk is probably the closest to what you're talking about there, and that he's big, he hits, he's got that nastiness to his game. Stian Solberg is another guy. He's kind of been a late riser. I don't think he's a realistic option at 12. He's probably going to fall more in that like 14 to 20 range. So I don't think the Flyers are going to have an opportunity to take him, but he's a physical guy. He really likes to lay the boomstick, let's say. So he's an option if you're really interested in that. That said, I mean, Adam, I'll be honest with you, like Yakimchuk but I like Yakimchuk because of the skills. The fact that he's physical and mean is a nice bonus. But like I have him as a top 10 player in this draft because of the skills. So like
that's how it should
be. For me, like the physicality and the nastiness is like not something I personally would prioritize. Like if they take Solberg at 12 because he's big and nasty, I will be immensely critical of that pick. You might like that pick because he's big and nasty and hits people. For me, I would disagree because my thing is I want this team to have more skill. That's what they need far more, in my opinion, than guys who hit. Because they have a guy who hits and is big and he stinks in Rasmus Ristolainen, and they're bad anyway because they paid him way too much money because he's big and he hits. Another guy who I do like, though, again, and this is more for the skill, the toughness and the physicality is more of a bonus, is Igor Sorin. He's a KHL guy, a Russian guy. Might be an option in round 2. He was actually one of Alex Appleyard's round 2 preferences. And he kind of gives me the vibe where like he's not huge. He's not going to be like super intimidating, but he has like kind of a Nazem Kadri vibe to him where like he's kind of a little shit out there. He has some size, he's
like
physical, and he's just really annoying and a pest. Obviously, Kadri wasn't afraid to lay the big hit, but I also think he's skilled. So like those are the kinds of guys I want. I don't want to reach on a guy just because he's big and mean.
I do want to ask about because going in the top 10 of this draft will be the son of a player who kind of fit the bill of, star player, also physical,
This is
beat
true.
the shit out of you. Jerome McGinley, his son Tej, just reading his prospect profile right here, it says he's got some physicality, but would it be fair to say, like, if you're expecting Jerome, like, I'm going to drop the gloves in the Stanley Cup final, that's probably not what you're going to get?
Different time, Bill.
I know.
Different time.
It was 20 years ago. I know.
No, it's 10. It's 10 years ago.
It was...
The 90s were 10 years ago. People, I don't know why people can't figure that out. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Just
No.
math, guys.
I mean, Tej is about the same size. I think he will be about the same size as his dad when he reaches his prime. Like, he's not as built yet, but kid's 17, 18 years old. He's going to put on more weight. He's going to put on more muscle. I don't know if he has the projection of being quite as physical and intimidating as Iginla was, as Jerome was, I guess. But it could develop as he gets stronger. He's not a not physical player. Like, he's willing to go into the dirty areas and the corners and battle for pucks. So maybe if he puts on another 15, 20 pounds of muscle, then he'll feel more comfortable trying to blow guys up along the boards rather than just pin them. Who knows?
We all silly like the mayor.